Chapter 1 You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. 2 Skills. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios Cerulean Planet, year 22nd month 12 day Suyu, who had just accepted that his soul had transmigrated into a parallel world because he had been pulled into the water by a big fish and drowned, was looking at the sky above the Cerulean Planet in shock. At this moment, the sky above the Cerulean Planet was scarlet red, as if signifying the end of the world. At this moment, an indifferent and emotionless voice sounded above the Cerulean Planet. The world has been destroyed and all living things have returned to the end. Congratulations on facing a new life. After that, the Cerulean Planet that Suyu was in turned into nothingness, as if it had never existed in the universe. When Suyu regained consciousness, he was still somewhat confused. Where the F*ck have I transmigrated to? When Suyu, who was struggling to prop himself up, saw his surroundings clearly, he felt that he was really going to die. F*ck, it seems like I've transmigrated to the sea this time. Suyu glanced at the place where he was standing and realized that it was a completely barren land. There was nothing there. Moreover, the land under his feet looked to be only about 100 square meters. It was pitifully small. Looking at the surrounding seawater, Suyu suddenly felt that there was nothing left to live for. Fortunately, just as Suyu was about to give up all hope, a slightly mechanical voice sounded in Suyu's ears. Welcome to the endless ultimate sea. The place you are at is your exclusive island. Please carefully read the things you need to pay attention to. 1. Each rookie can receive a novice survival treasure chest. The items obtained from the specific treasure chest are random. 2. Each rookie will be given a beginner's fishing rod with 10 sets of ordinary bait. You can use the fishing rod and the bait to fish. 3. The island where the newcomers stay will have a 7-day novice protection period. 4. Please work hard to increase the island's level and prosperity points. The higher the prosperity points, the more authority you have. 5. Every rookie will develop a skill. The specific awakening talent depends on the individual's luck. The initial skills are categorized into 9 levels. SSS, SS, S, A, B, C, D, E, F. Among them, SSS is the highest and F is the lowest. Please discover your own skills. 6. After the novice protection period, you may face various unexpected situations, so please work hard to build your own island to deal with various situations and survive. The bright screen that appeared in front of Suyu dissipated after he finished reading all the relevant information. Then, another bright screen appeared in front of Suyu. Level 1 Island Master, Name. Suyu. Age. 23 years old. Strength. 1+1, Physique. 1+1, Spirit. 1.5+1, Note. In parentheses are the stats added by the Island Master on his own island. The additional stats will not be effective after leaving his island. Island Prosperity Points. Skills. SSS Grade Insight Skill, Unknown Grade Talent, Double Happiness, can be upgraded. Regional Communication Channel, Regional Trading Channel. After seeing the contents of his personal stats panel, Suyu's thoughts directly went to the stats column. Looking at the 2 talents he possessed, Suyu couldn't help but have a question. Could it be that he was given 2 skills because he transmigrated twice? Moreover, this skill was also at the highest level. There's also an unknown talent. This simply was a bug. As Suyu was thinking, the description of the 2 skills appeared in front of him. SSS Grade Insight Skill, Skill Description. Those with this skill can see through all things and discover information that ordinary people can't discover. The ability of this skill will increase with the increase in strength. Note. When the insight skill discovers a creature it is unable to detect, it will automatically enter a hidden state. Unknown level skill Double Happiness, can be upgraded skill description. Obtain double the resources whenever you open the treasure chest. The upgrade requirements are unknown. Note: for special category treasure chests, there is a requirement to complete the treasure chest mission to obtain double the reward. Awesome. After reading the description of the two skills, Suyu felt that the combination of these two skills was simply flawless. He wasn't in a hurry to enter the communication channel. At this moment, Suyu's gaze was attracted by a golden rookie survival treasure chest on the bright screen. Beside this treasure chest was a shadow of a very simple fishing rod. Do you want to receive the novice survival treasure chest, fishing rod, and bait? When Suyu's thought of the treasure chest, a notification immediately sounded in Suyu's ears. Yes. Ding. Congratulations on successfully obtaining the novice survival treasure chest. Your double happiness skill has been triggered. You have obtained the following items. 1.5 liters of mineral water x2, 5 packages of Handsome Kang's instant noodles x2. F***ck, that's all. It's fine if you give me instant noodles, but you even give me counterfeit goods 1. Suyu was dumbfounded when he saw what was inside the novice survival treasure chest. It looked so shiny that Suyu had thought that there would be something good inside. And turns out that's it. At the same time, a few items appeared in front of Suyu. They were a fishing rod that didn't look like much, 10 portions of bait beside it, 2 large bottles of mineral water, and 10 packets of Handsome Kang's instant noodles. When Suyu's gaze fell on these things, the descriptions of these things appeared before Suyu's eyes. 1.5 liters of mineral water, description. Ordinary drinking water. To ensure that you won't die of thirst in the early stages. Handsome Kang's instant noodles, description. 1 pack is not enough. 2 packs are too much. If you eat it dry, it's a little dry. I recommend cooking it in hot water. Novice fishing rod, durability. 100/1 description. Every time you fish an item, its durability will decrease by 1 point. If you obtain a fishing rod blueprint, it can be upgraded. Ordinary bait, description. Can be used to lure common. To common. Wooden treasure chests in the sea. Note. Represents half a star. Represents 1 star. After picking up the fishing rod and weighing it in his hand a few times, Suyu did not start fishing immediately. Instead, he clicked on the 2 channels on the bright screen, wanting to see how the other people were doing. Regional Communication Channel. 5,000 people in a small region. Each person can send 10 messages for free every day. Note. The island with the highest prosperity points in the region can obtain 5 additional messages per day. Regional Trading Channel. You can place your own items in it to trade. You can trade up to 10 times a day. Note. The island with the highest prosperity points in the region can do trading for 5 additional times per day. After looking at the descriptions of the 2 channels, Suyu clicked into the communication channel first. As soon as he entered the communication channel, Suyu realized that many people were already leaving messages. Chapter 2. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Weapon Out Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios F***ck, why are there pots and pans in this damn survival treasure chest? I want water and food. F***ck, I got 3 kilograms of rice, but there's no water. Damn it, why the hell is it a doll? Glancing at the communication channel, Suyu found that most of the people who sent messages in the communication channel were complaining about the items obtained from the novice's treasure chest. Looking at it, Suyu suddenly felt that he was lucky to have obtained water and instant noodles. However, most people had yet to react, so the messages in the communication channel were scattered and did not reach the speed of spamming. After scanning the messages, Suyu found that there wasn't any useful information, so he directly exited the communication channel. He planned to wait for a while before coming in to take a look at the situation. Then, Suyu picked up the fishing rod and walked toward the shore. When he reached the shore, Suyu was not in a hurry to fish. Instead, he focused on the sea in front of him. The treasure chest resources in this part of the sea are relatively scarce and ordinary. You are recommended to change fishing positions. As Suyu focused, a line of words flashed directly into Suyu's eyes. After reading the message, Suyu immediately turned around and walked in another direction. The treasure chest resources in this part of the sea are average. You are recommended to change fishing positions. After changing position, Suyu realized that this fishing spot was still not good enough, so he changed his position again. This part of the sea is rich in treasure chest resources. You are recommended to fish here. Awesome. After seeing the notification, Suyu instantly perked up. Then, Suyu flicked his fishing rod toward the sea and the fishing line fell into the water. Suyu, who understood how important it was to watch the fishing rod in the early stages, stared at the float without blinking. His hand was also holding the fishing rod tightly. After standing for a while, Suyu sat down cross-legged. Time passed slowly as Suyu continued fishing. Fishing required patience, so even if the float stayed still, Suyu's expression did not change much. Suddenly, Suyu noticed that the float suddenly sank into the water. After discovering this situation, Suyu instantly exerted his strength and pulled the fishing rod. With Suyu's effort, a small wooden treasure chest appeared on the surface of the water. Ordinary wooden treasure chest, description. It contains 10 pieces of ordinary wood. You can just drag it ashore. When Suyu's gaze swept across the wooden treasure chest floating on the water, Suyu's insight skill allowed him to directly see the information of this wooden treasure chest. After seeing the information of the treasure chest, Suyu did not hesitate to pull the fishing rod. The wooden treasure chest on the surface of the water was also dragged up by Suyu the way it was instructed in the description. During this time, it did not resist at all. After looking at the wooden treasure chest that he had dragged up, Suyu touched it. Ding! You have obtained an ordinary wooden treasure chest. Would you like to open it? Yes. As soon as he touched the treasure chest, Suyu heard the notification in his ears. As Suyu already knew what was inside, he wasn't at all excited. Suyu perhaps would not be able to experience the thrill of opening the mystery box after obtaining his insight skill. However, Suyu would definitely not turn off this talent. Treasure chest opening in progress. Double happiness skill activated. You have obtained 10 pieces of ordinary wood *2. After Suyu opened the treasure chest, he found that it had dissipated. Then, a pile of wood appeared in front of him. At the same time, information about the wood appeared before Suyu's eyes. Ordinary wood, description. It can be used to build wooden houses and wooden furniture. It can also be used as a flammable material to start fires and keep warm. If you don't know how to build a wooden house yourself, you can try to fish a wooden house blueprint and use it to build your own house. Note: 100 pieces of wood can build a 15-square-meter cabin. In response, Suyu nodded slightly. This wood was quite useful. It could be used to build a shelter. Otherwise, it would be terrible if it rained. However, he required 100 pieces of wood to build a shelter. Suyu's current resources were still a little lacking. Therefore, in order to move into a wooden house as soon as possible and to obtain some new resources, Suyu had no choice but to start fishing again. After that, Suyu started the tedious task of fishing. Fortunately, there was still a communication channel to entertain Suyu. At this moment, Suyu was holding the fishing rod tightly in his hand. Then, he got distracted and started to browse the communication channel. After such a long time, the communication channel where Suyu finally became lively. Damn it, can someone tell me how it feels to fish out a damaged wooden treasure chest and obtain a pair of smelly socks soaked in water? OP, it's fine. I didn't catch anything good either. The first treasure chest I caught only gave me 2 portions of bread. Damn you, Get lost. Is there anyone who would like to see silk stockings? I'll DM you the picture in exchange for a bottle of water. Get lost, cross-player. You want to exchange pictures for water. Dream on. It had to be said that this communication channel had become a place for most people to vent their emotions. After all, not everyone could face such a situation calmly, and the communication channel was perfect for these people to vent the panic in their hearts. As for Suyu, he had already died once, and he had encountered such a collective transmigration when he had just transmigrated. Therefore, Suyu was already a little jaded. Suyu took the time to look at the communication channel while paying attention to the floats on the water. F***ck, it's so heavy. At this moment, Suyu, who was staring at the float, suddenly realized that the float was sinking. Hence, Suyu exerted strength in his arm. But this time, Suyu felt that it was very different from the first wooden treasure chest he had caught. This time, Suyu could clearly feel the resistance under the water. Fortunately, Suyu was on the island, and with the island's power, Suyu's current strength was twice as strong as before he transmigrated. If it weren't for the fact that he was afraid of breaking the rod, Suyu would have exerted his whole power no matter what. After using some of his usual fishing techniques, Suyu finally managed to fish the treasure chest out of the water. However, he still needed to expend some effort to pull it out. Ordinary wooden treasure chest, description. It contains a Type 59 pistol and 8 bullets. The technique of fishing this treasure chest is to exert force and drag intermittently. Note: please do not use brute force to drag it. Otherwise, it will easily break free. Awesome. There's actually a weapon, although it doesn't seem to be of much use at the moment. After seeing the information of the treasure chest floating then sinking into the water, Suyu immediately became energetic. Chapter 3 You are listening at novelfull.audio. Monster Treasure Chest Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. With the hint from his skill, Suyu naturally wouldn't use brute force to drag the treasure chest up. At this moment, Suyu began to move back and forth on the island. Suyu gradually pulled the wooden treasure chest under the water closer and closer to the shore. Finally, Suyu used his strength to pull the wooden treasure chest out of the water. Suyu, who clearly knew what was inside, did not waste any time and directly chose to open the wooden treasure chest. Type 59 pistol, description. Magazine capacity 8 rounds, effective range 50 meters, relatively lethal against ordinary humans and animals. Note: the range is limited. Please shoot at close range to ensure maximum damage. O.org. With the double happiness skill, Suyu naturally obtained 2 Type 59 pistols and 16 matching bullets. As soon as he picked up the gun, Suyu's eyes flashed with excitement. After all, in Suyu's peaceful era, it was very difficult for ordinary people to get a chance to use a real gun. After putting the bullets into the magazine and fumbling around, Suyu raised his gun and aimed at a pile of wood nearby. Bang! Accompanied by the sound of gunshot, Suyu successfully fired his first shot. After testing the effects of the gun, Suyu did not waste the bullets and stopped shooting. After all, guns were no different from scrap metal without bullets. It was better to use the bullets sparingly. If it weren't for the fact that he wanted to figure out how to use this thing, Suyu wouldn't have shot at the wood. Suyu casually placed the gun aside and once again dead himself to fishing. He couldn't help but feel bored on the island. However, to Suyu, his fishing was much better than the others. After all, not only did Suyu have a cheat-like skill, but he also had an abnormal skill of insight. It could be said to be the beginning of his good destiny. The others were not so lucky. There were quite a number of unlucky people who couldn't manage to fish anything. Sometimes, they would even get a pile of junk. If Suyu hadn't chosen an area with abundant resources due to the hint from his insight skill, he would have been in a similar situation as the others. Oh, not bad. Another treasure chest has taken the bait. When Suyu felt the float sinking again, his eyes flashed with joy. After all, every time the float sank, it meant that a treasure chest had taken the bait. F*ck, what the F*ck did I catch this time? Suyu, whose eyes had just flashed with joy, was suddenly pulled by the force from the fishing rod. If not for the fact that Suyu was still 1 meter away from the sea, he would have been dragged into the water. After he reacted, Suyu held the fishing rod with both hands and carefully pulled it back. However, just as Suyu retreated a little, the force from the fishing rod immediately dragged Suyu forward. At this moment, Suyu was not shocked, but delighted. From the hints given by his insight skill throughout his 2 fishing experiences, Suyu discovered that the higher the level of the treasure chest, the stronger the treasure chest would struggle. Now, Suyu could clearly feel that the force coming from the water this time was much stronger than the ordinary wooden treasure chest he had just fished up. Coupled with the category of ordinary treasure chests that can be fished with ordinary bait, Suyu felt that the one that had been baited was definitely an ordinary wooden treasure chest. He just did not know what was in the treasure chest this time. Then, under Suyu's continuous pulling, the thing under the water finally surfaced. Ordinary monster treasure chest, description. There is a low-level goblin hidden in this treasure chest. After acquiring the treasure chest, you can choose to open the treasure chest and release the goblin. Note: you can only obtain the treasure chest reward after defeating or killing the goblin. Low-level goblin, strength 1, physique. Spirit 1, weapon. Broadsword. Evaluation. The weakest species among the goblins. It has a simple construction ability. According to your current items, the best way to deal with it is to use firearms. After glancing at the treasure chest that had just floated to the surface of the water, Suyu realized that there was much more information flashing before his eyes than before. I've encountered a special type treasure chest. I wonder what kind of reward I'll get after killing this thing. After reading the information, Suyu's interest was piqued. This treasure chest had given Suyu the pleasure of opening the mystery box. If he had caught the monster treasure chest before he caught the firearm, Suyu would have to consider whether he should fish it up and open the special type treasure chest. After all, although the creature inside the treasure was not as strong as him with the island's buff, it had a weapon. But now, Suyu had 2 guns. He obviously did not have such worries, because his insight skill had provided him with the best strategy. Very soon, Suyu and the monster treasure chest under the water started a long tug-of war. After 20 minutes, Suyu managed to reel in the monster treasure chest. Looking at the monster treasure chest in front of him, Suyu casually put the fishing rod aside. Then, he picked up the 2 Type 59 pistols that were placed beside him. At the same time, he quickly touched the monster treasure chest in front of him and opened it silently. Suyu mumbled quietly, then immediately retreated a distance away. Then, he stared at the position of the monster treasure chest. Then, Suyu saw a flash of white light. Immediately, a creature who was less than 1.5 meters tall and had a slightly hunched back appeared in front of Suyu. Seeing this, Suyu pulled the trigger, not giving the goblin any time to react. The goblin had just been released from the monster treasure chest and had not even gotten used to its surroundings before he felt immense pain on his body. Then, its vision darkened and it fell to the ground. Although Suyu had not undergone professional shooting training, he had played with slingshots when he was young. At such a close distance, he could aim accurately. As a precaution, Suyu shot out 5 bullets in one go, leaving 5 bullet holes on the goblin's body. Ding! You have killed the low-level goblin from the ordinary monster treasure chest. You can choose one of the following rewards. Option 1. 1 low-level goblin slave. Option 2. Construction knowledge possessed by low-level goblins. After Suyu killed the low-level goblin, the rewards option for the monster treasure chest appeared in front of him. Without much thought, Suyu chose the goblin slave. Ding! Your skill, double happiness, has been triggered. You have obtained 2 goblin slaves. After this notification, 2 goblins that looked exactly the same as the one he killed appeared in front of Suyu's eyes. As for the goblin on the ground, it dissipated into thin air. Chapter 4. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Number 1 in the Regional Island Prosperity Points Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios, Low-level Goblin, Identity. Slave Loyalty. 100, unable to betray its master, Strength. 1, Physique. Spirit. 1, Skills. Basic Construction Weapon. Broadsword. Description. The cheapest labor force that can survive with a small amount of food. It has been implanted with the ability to speak in the common language. The moment the 2 goblins appeared on the island and saw Suyu, their eyes were immediately filled with fanatical madness. Then, they immediately knelt on the ground, wanting to kiss Suyu's shoes. Suyu moved his feet away in disgust. Then, he said in a deep voice, "The 2 of you, go and build me a wooden bed with those piles of wood, as well as a wooden table and some wooden stools." Understood. Upon hearing Suyu's words, the 2 goblins immediately nodded. Loyalty level of 100 meant that Suyu only needed to say a word, and the 2 low-level goblins would immediately jump into the sea. They would not be able to disobey any of Suyu's requests. Soon, the broadsword-brandishing goblins ran towards the pile of wood. Ding! Your island's prosperity points have increased. You are currently ranked first in this region. Please continue to work hard. If you continue to be on the rankings for 6 hours, you will obtain the privilege that comes with being ranked first. Suyu, who had just dismissed the 2 goblins with a wave of his hand, suddenly heard another notification ring beside his ear. Hearing the contents of the notification, Suyu could not help but exclaim in surprise. At the same time, because Suyu was the first person to increase his island's prosperity points, this matter started to become widely discussed in the communication channel. At this moment, a regional ranking list appeared before Suyu's eyes. Prosperity Points Regional Ranking, First Place. Suyu, Prosperity Value 10 points, on the rankings at 00.00.25. Second Place. None. Third Place. None. After seeing this situation, Suyu's thoughts shifted, and he immediately brought up his stats panel. Level 1 Island Master, Name. Suyu. Age. 23 years old. Strength. 1+1, Physique. 1+1, Spirit. 1.5+1, Own Slaves. 2 low-level goblins, 10 prosperity points. Note. In parentheses are the stats added by the island master on his own island. The additional stats will not be effective after leaving his island. Island prosperity points. 10 points, current region ranked first. Skills. SSS grade insight skill, unknown grade talent, double happiness, can be upgraded. Regional communication channel, regional trading channel, regional prosperity value list. The number of living beings on the island had increased, so the island's prosperity points had increased. After seeing his stats, Suyu immediately reacted. At the same time, Suyu thought about the communication channel. He wanted to see the reactions of the others. F*CK, the Regional Prosperity Value Leaderboard has opened. The number 1 big shot, come out and say something. Begging the master, please tell me how to increase the prosperity points of the island. As soon as he entered the communication channel, Suyu saw that many people were flattering him. Suyu had no feelings about this at all. However, for the sake of the subsequent prospects of trading, Suyu did not pretend to be aloof. Anyway, this type of information was not important. Moreover, with Suyu's development speed, there was no one in this area who could catch up to his island construction speed. Thinking of this, Suyu typed a bunch of words. The prosperity points are closely related to the number of creatures on the island and the buildings on the island. You can use some materials to build a shelter like a straw hut. After Suyu sent the message, words of gratitude immediately floated out of the communication channel. Thank you for telling me, Master. Do you need black silk stockings? Ranked 1 brother, please give me some water to drink. I haven't drank water all morning. While there were also people who thanked him, there were also many who pretended to be pitiful. Suyu ignored those who were pretending to be pitiful, because there was no way he could help them. Suyu felt that he could not do something such as giving his food to someone else. Whoever wanted to do it could do it. Looking at the meaningless information in the communication channel, Suyu directly clicked into the trading channel. After a period of consideration, Suyu felt that there should be some trading items inside. When he clicked on it, Suyu realized that there were quite a number of people posting information about transactions. 1xx, items to trade. 5 porcelain bowls. Items in exchange. 2 bottles of water or 2 bags of instant noodles. Zhou XX, items to trade. 5 wood. Items in exchange. A bottle of water or a piece of bread. Li XX, items to trade. 10 wood. Items in exchange. Cold medicine and a bottle of water or bread. After glancing at the trading information posted by everyone in the trading channel, Suyu realized that most of them were asking to buy water and food. And the thing that were sold the most was wood. However, after Suyu sorted out the items he had, he immediately realized that he was extraordinarily poor. Damn it, I hope I can fish out some goods that can be traded out later. Realizing that he was poor, Suyu immediately exited the trading channel and started fishing diligently. After Suyu left the trading channel, someone began to crazily sweep through the items that were being traded for water. At this moment, Wang Teng, who was on his own island, felt that the heavens were still very kind to him. He had just fished up a red plastic bucket when it started raining in the next second. He immediately hugged the plastic bucket tightly, as if he was afraid that it would be blown away by the wind. The rain came and went quickly. In the end, he only filled half of the plastic bucket with water. However, half a bucket of water was enough for him to start buying stuff. After all, water was a precious resource at this time. Nobody could drink the seawater around the island. With so much water at this time, he was practically a tycoon. However, he could only trade 10 times a day, so he started to choose carefully in the trading channel instead of sweeping up all the goods. As for Suyu, who had just left the trading channel, he noticed that the float had sunk as soon as he cast the hook. He stretched out his hand to pull the fishing rod, and a slightly disappointed expression appeared on his face. There was no resistance at all under the water. It looked like another ordinary treasure chest. When Suyu exerted strength in his hand, he easily dragged the treasure chest to the shore. Then, without looking at the information of the treasure chest, Suyu chose to open it. Ding! You have opened an ordinary wooden treasure chest. Double happiness skill has been triggered. You have obtained 1 box, 50 pieces, of windproof lighter *2. Awesome! After seeing the items inside the treasure chest, Suyu suddenly felt that he finally had something to trade. After all, some people must want an easy way to start a fire. It's impossible that everyone could drill into wood to start a fire. Chapter 5. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Obtained bait, making materials translator. Atlas Studios editor. Atlas Studios. Then, Suyu put the 2 boxes of lighters aside and turned to look at the 2 goblins who were working hard. At this moment, the 2 goblins were trimming the wood with sabers. However, it was really difficult to use a broadsword to make wooden tables and stools. After thinking for a while, Suyu put up a trade offer for a few lighters on the trading channel and set the conditions. Items to trade. Windproof lighter, 5-unit items in exchange. Exchange each lighter for 0/1 handmade saw, 0/1 chisel, 0/1 axe, 0/1 plank, 0/1 hammer. After putting up the trade offer, Suyu stopped looking at the trading channel and continued fishing. Suyu still had 6 portions of ordinary bait on hand, which was enough for him to fish for another 6 treasure chests. To be honest, the thing that Suyu wanted to fish out the most was actually the ordinary energy crystal that can be used to make bait. After all, this particular object was the most important thing. Suyu knew how to make the bait after carefully looking at it. The detailed information about the bait, including the composition of the bait, appeared in his sight. However, whether or not he could catch this specific item depended on luck. It was also possible that someone had already caught it, but they did not sell it on the trading channel. This was very likely. This was because this kind of energy crystal was obviously not an ordinary item. Even if others did not have Suyu's insight skill and did not know the use of the energy crystal immediately, they would not casually trade it on the trading channel. Suyu felt that it shouldn't be too difficult to obtain energy crystals that could be used to make ordinary baits. Otherwise, with just 10 portions of ordinary baits, 50% of the people wouldn't be able to live past the beginner stage. Time passed by slowly as Suyu continued fishing. At this moment, Suyu was only left with the last 2 pieces of bait. The 4 items that Suyu had caught were: ordinary wooden house blueprint, description. Place the blueprint on 100 pieces of wood and choose to use the blueprint. You can build a 15-square-meter wooden house yourself. Ordinary fresh apple, description. An apple with a freshness of more than 95. It is edible. Best consumed within 10 days. Store in the shade to maintain its freshness for a longer time. Ordinary energy crystal, description. One of the materials used to make ordinary bait. By crushing it and mixing it with flour, you can make ordinary bait. Note: 1 energy crystal can be used to make 30 ordinary baits. Ordinary bamboo mat, description. An ordinary mat. It's more comfortable to sleep on the mat than on hard ground. To be honest, after obtaining the energy crystals, Suyu was immediately relieved. After all, flour should be easier to obtain than energy crystals. Suyu did not believe that no one in the region couldn't manage to catch any flour. Therefore, during the last 2 fishing sessions, Suyu fished in a more relaxed manner. Ding! The windproof lighter you uploaded has been sold. Do you want to withdraw the traded items? Just as Suyu was fishing, he heard the notification that the transaction had been successful. Suyu did not choose to withdraw the items directly as no treasure chest had taken the bait yet. Coincidentally, at this moment, Suyu suddenly felt the fishing rod in his hand getting heavier. After fishing 8 times, Suyu had already figured out the pulling force of the different star-grade treasure chests. Therefore, Suyu didn't even need to pull the treasure chest out of the water. Just by the feel of it, Suyu knew that there was an ordinary wooden treasure chest under the water. When Suyu exerted his strength and dragged the treasure chest to the surface, the star level of the treasure chest was indeed the same as Suyu had estimated. Ordinary wooden treasure chest, description. It contains a set of pots, pans, chopsticks, and spoons. It's alright. I can use the bowl to have noodles for dinner. Suyu nodded slightly at the items in the treasure chest that he had fished up this time. The last one. Let's go. Suyu looked at the pots and pans piled at the side and casually threw out the last bait. It was unclear if Suyu's last shot was due to sheer luck or something else. The bait had only been in the water for less than 5 seconds before the float sank. Awesome. When he pulled the rod, he realized that the force was similar to the feeling of a ordinary wooden treasure chest. Suyu couldn't help but exclaim under his breath. This was like fishing a big fish. It felt good. As Suyu exerted his strength, the details regarding the treasure chest under the water were also seen by Suyu. Ordinary wooden treasure chest, Description. It contains an ordinary small car. The fuel tank is full. It is recommended not to drive on the island. I. Upon seeing the description of the treasure chest, Suyu was utterly speechless. Although he knew that the treasure chests contained all kinds of things, Suyu had never thought that he would be able to obtain such a thing. Drive. What is there to drive? This island is 10 meters in length and width, am I supposed to drive the car into the sea? Fortunately, in Suyu's opinion, this car was not completely useless. At the very least, before the construction of the wooden house was completed, he could use it to sleep. Sleeping in a car should be more comfortable than sleeping on the ground. Moreover, the fuel in the fuel tank could also be used as flammable material under Suyu's hard work. The ordinary wooden treasure chest under the water could not escape his grasp. Om holding the wooden treasure chest and the fishing rod, Suyu quickly walked toward the two goblins. Master. Upon seeing Suyu approaching, the two low-level goblins immediately stopped what they were doing and knelt down to greet Suyu. Suyu looked at the wooden bed and table. They were beginning to take shape, but were still otherwise incomplete. Suyu nodded slightly. The two goblins' work speed was not bad. Then, with a thought from Suyu, two Toyota cars appeared on the island. This was the advantage of double happiness. One item became two items. This miraculous scene frightened the two low-level goblins so much that they knelt on the ground again. Get up, hurry up and get it done, Suyu shouted at the two goblins on the ground. After saying that, Suyu opened the door of the Toyota and sat inside. After adjusting the seat, Suyu relaxed. To be honest, Suyu felt quite tired after 10 rounds of fishing. Suyu's stamina and energy had been greatly consumed. As for the others, they might not have as exhausted as Suyu, because they were not so lucky as to be able to fish out so many ordinary wooden treasure chests in 10 fishing sessions. Most people would fish out damaged wooden treasure chests, followed by ordinary wooden treasure chests. Ordinary wooden treasure chests were a rarity. The others probably had a hard time fishing out the ordinary wooden treasure chest as they did not have Suyu's insight skill. It would purely depend on their luck to find the perfect fishing spot, let alone fish out the ordinary wooden treasure chest. Most importantly, even if the treasure chests were to take the bait, whether they could pull it ashore was another problem. Suyu was able to pull it up because his insight skills allowed him to see the correct strategy to pull the treasure chest ashore. It was basically a cheat skill. Chapter 6. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Flower acquired translator. Atlas Studios editor. Atlas Studios. Suyu, who was lying on the chair and holding an apple in one hand, was looking at the communication channel. He wanted to see if anyone had discovered any valuable information. As soon as he entered the communication channel, Suyu realized that the messages in the communication channel had become scattered messages again. Unlike before, he still needed to scroll through his thoughts to see what others had sent. Ding! The amount of time your island was on the ranking list has met the conditions, you can now enjoy the privilege of being ranked first. 1. You can trade for 5 additional times a day. Your trade offers can be placed at the top of the trading channel. 2. You can send 5 additional messages a day. Your messages can be placed at the top of the communication channel. 3. Continue to accumulate time on the rankings and you will receive a treasure chest as a reward. The time span is 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. Just as Suyu was browsing, the notification of him becoming the number 1 on the list rang in his ears again. However, at this moment, Suyu's expression was slightly grave. This was because the messages in the communication channel at this time had turned shocking. Please, let me go back. My child is only 1 year old. Sigh, I wonder if the children and the elderly also transmigrated to this damned world. Ding. Humans below the age of 14 to over 60 have other arrangements. Survivors, please work hard to live. Only by working hard do you have hope of seeing your families again. Just as Su Yu's expression turned ugly, a notification that seemed to have seen through everyone's thoughts sounded in the ears of all the survivors. This instantly ignited the hope of many people to live again. As for Su Yu, he felt that he was destined to be alone. Before he transmigrated, he was also alone. After his soul transmigrated, he was still alone, so he did not have any relatives to worry about. That's great. I must survive. After the notification, the regional channel that Su Yu was in became lively again. Brothers, do you have any useful information to share? I only caught some lousy things today. Fishing depends on luck. I didn't get any lousy treasure chest. F***ck, then there's no hope for me. My luck was absolutely terrible when I played games in the past. Good luck, bro. By the way, can you give me your supplies before you leave? F***ck off. I'll definitely die after you. Looking at the information in the communication channel, Su Yu was too lazy to leave any messages, so he clicked on the trading channel. Looking at the search panel on the bright screen, Su Yu entered the words, flour. Soon, more than 10 trade offers about flour popped up on the light screen. 1xx, items to trade. 1 kilogram of flour. Items in exchange. 0.9 kilograms bread or instant noodles. Zhou XX, items to trade. 2 kilograms of flour. Exchange item. 1.8 kilograms of ready-made food. Su Yu glanced at the trade offer of flour and found that most of it was used to trade for food that did not need to be cooked. However, seeing that a packet of instant noodles was only 100 grams, Su Yu immediately gave up on the idea of exchanging instant noodles for flour. After some thought, Su Yu decided to try using the windproof lighter. Items to trade. 1 windproof lighter. Items in exchange. 300 grams of flour. This was the trade offer set by Su Yu. After that, Su Yu set the number of transactions twice. Su Yu did not care to think about whether the trade would be successful and instead chose to fill his stomach first. Su Yu immediately left the trading channel, opened the car door, and walked out. Use this to ignite the wood and start a fire for me, Su Yu ordered as he glanced at the 2 low-level goblins who were still working hard. After saying that, Su Yu took out a windproof lighter and pressed the ignition button. He showed the 2 goblins how to light a fire. After the demonstration, Su Yu threw the windproof lighter to the 2 goblins. The 2 goblins, who were loyal to Su Yu, naturally went to start a fire. With the wood shavings produced as these 2 goblins were making wooden tables, wooden stools, and other things, starting a fire was not a problem at all. Soon, the 2 goblins gathered a pile of scrap wood and quickly started a fire. Su Yu then poured some mineral water into the pot and placed the pot on the fire. 2 to 3 minutes later, after seeing that the water in the pot had started boiling, Su Yu tore open a packet of instant noodles and threw it in. The fragrance of the instant noodles stimulated Su Yu's nose. As for the 2 goblins at the side, they were staring at the pot atop the fire and swallowing their saliva. However, although the 2 goblins swallowed their saliva, they did not dare to have any thoughts. At this moment, Su Yu was quickly stirring the water with his chopsticks. 3 minutes later, a pot of hot instant noodles was ready to be served. After pouring all the noodles into a bowl, Su Yu looked at the goblins, who were staring at the bowl in his hand and swallowing their saliva. Cook it yourself. After you're done, wash the pots and bowls for me. After thinking about it, Su Yu was not so stingy as to starve the 2 slaves. After all, the 2 of them were still useful for now. At the very least, he could throw any dirty work to the 2 of them. After saying that, Su Yu threw 2 packets of instant noodles at them. If it were any other human, they might have considered not giving the food to the slaves because no one could guarantee that they would still be able to obtain food. However, Su Yu wasn't worried at all. He already had the energy crystals needed to make ordinary baits. All he needed was flour. With 2 energy crystals, Suyu could make a total of 60 ordinary baits. With Suyu's insight skill, he would definitely not fish out any rubbish. Therefore, the source of food in the later stages was naturally guaranteed. Ding! The 2 windproof lighters you uploaded have been sold. Do you want to withdraw the traded item? Please choose a container to store the traded item. The notification shocked Suyu, who was sitting on a log and eating his noodles. He almost choked. Damn it, why didn't you wait for me to finish eating before sending me the notification? Suyu complained in his heart. Then he chose to extract the items directly. As for the container, Suyu chose a plate on the ground. Then, 600 grams of snow-white flour appeared on the plate on the ground. At the same time, a windproof lighter each appeared in front of the other 2 survivors. Chapter 7. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Direct Message Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. After looking at the flour on the plate, Suyu quickly finished the instant noodles in the bowl. Then, he drank a mouthful of broth in satisfaction and casually put the bowl aside, letting the 2 goblins wash it with seawater later. Then, he took out 2 energy crystals. Suyu threw them into the plate and picked up the hammer on the ground. Bang, bang, bang. Suyu immediately started smashing with the hammer. Not long after, the 2 ordinary energy crystals were smashed into pieces by Suyu. After looking at the shattered energy crystals on the plate, Suyu threw the hammer on the ground and started to work on it. In the end, after Suyu's hard work, 60 sets of fresh ordinary bait appeared on the stage. Phew! Looking at the 60 sets of the ordinary bait on the plate, Suyu heaved a sigh of relief. However, at this moment, Suyu thought of another matter. He could create ordinary baits because he could see the materials used to make the bait. What would ordinary survivors do when they ran out of bait? At this moment, Suyu naturally didn't want everyone else to die. If that were to happen, he would be the only one in this area. In that case, there would be no point in continuing to develop his island. After all, the more people there were, the richer the items in the trading channel would be. With this thought in mind, Suyu clicked on the communication channel to see if anyone was discussing this issue. After Suyu went in, he flipped through the chat records and found that there were people talking about this matter. However, nobody had a solution. After giving it some thought, Suyu began to compose a message. I'm purchasing ordinary energy crystals. Those who wish to sell it can send me a picture through DM. After composing his message, Suyu chose to pin it at the top. This was the privilege he earned for being ranked first, so it would be a waste not to use it. At this moment, Suyu's message immediately attracted the attention of many survivors. F*CK, the number 1 big shot has pinned the news. What's this ordinary energy crystal? What's its use? Tell me if there's anything important. Although I don't know what this thing is used for, it must be very rare. If only I had it. No matter what, I have to extort a sum from a big shot on the rankings. It had to be said that when Suyu sent out this message, it immediately led everyone to start guessing. After all, Suyu had always occupied the number 1 position in the island's prosperity points ranking. This meant that the construction of Suyu's island was the best in their region. Ding! Regional Island Prosperity Rankings has been updated. The first place remains unchanged, with the second to 100th place added, Prosperity Points Regional Ranking, first place. Suyu, Prosperity Points. 20 points, on the rankings July 31, 25. Second place. Zhou E, Prosperity Points. 10 points, on the rankings at 00.00.01. Third place. Wang Su, Prosperity Points. 9, on the rankings at 00.00.01. Fourth place. Ji Qingru, Prosperity Points. 8, on the rankings at 00.00.01. 100th place. Wang Dachui, prosperity value. 1 point, on the rankings 00.00.01. Ding. The daily prosperity points rankings is now posted. Other than the treasure chests, there are also basic rewards. Note. Only the top 10 on the rankings will be rewarded with treasure chests. The first place could receive 20 ordinary baits per day. The second place could receive 15 ordinary baits per day. The third place could receive 10 ordinary baits per day. The 4th to 10th places could receive 8 ordinary baits per day. The 11th to 20th places could receive 6 ordinary baits per day. The 21st to 50th places could receive 4 ordinary baits per day. The 50th to 100th places could receive 3 ordinary baits per day. Those beyond the 100th place could receive 1 ordinary bait per day. Not long after Suyu posted his message, a mechanical notification sounded in the ears of all the survivors in the area. In an instant, the communication channel exploded. F*CK, after this F*King 100th place, will be given only 1 set of welfare ordinary bait every day. How are we going to live? Day 1 of being envious of the master on the first rank. F*CK, the first place will be rewarded with 20 sets every day. That's 20 times more than mine. Everyone, don't be anxious. There must be another way to obtain the bait. It's impossible that this is the only method. Brothers and sisters who are in the top 10, can you tell me how your prosperity points increased so quickly? At this moment, Suyu, who had just sent his message, could not help but exclaim in surprise. So you can get some baits if you are placed on the rankings. However, this method seems to be really difficult. After looking at the rankings and rewards on the bright screen, Suyu fell into deep thought. The current situation was very clear. The higher one's ranking, the more resources one could have. After the 100th place, it depended on whether one could rush forward or if they were lucky enough to fish up some different items to change their current situation. Survivor Wang Teng has met the requirements you set and would like to DM you. Do you want to accept the DM? Just as Suyu was deep in thought, a notification for a DM interrupted his train of thought. This person has energy crystals. Suyu, who had just reacted, immediately chose to accept the DM request. Suyu had set a condition to DM him, which was to have energy crystals. Otherwise, he would reject their DM requests. Otherwise, if just anyone could DM Suyu, he would be annoyed to death. This was also a very practical function in the communication channel. As for whether the other party had energy crystals, the system would naturally detect them. Otherwise, how could the trading channel display the name of the items? Suyu had just agreed to the other party's DM request. As soon as he entered the DM interface, he saw a message from the guy called Wang Teng. Boss Su, are you there? I have the energy crystal you want. I can trade this with you, but can you tell me what is the use of this thing? At this moment, Wang Teng, who was on his own island, was staring nervously at the bright screen in front of him. It was unclear whether Wang Teng was just extremely lucky or what, but Lady Luck seemed to be on his side. He managed to get 2 energy crystals from the ordinary wooden treasure chest. Wang Teng didn't have Suyu's insight skill, he could only see the name of the item through the bright screen. He couldn't see the details of the item. However, from the star grade of the treasure chests, Wang Teng could tell which items in which treasure chests were more precious. It was because of this that he didn't put this thing on the trading channel. He didn't know what he should trade it for. Chapter 8 You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Emperor Luck Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios, I want to know what ordinary energy crystals are used for. Upon hearing the other party's words, Suyu could not help but frown slightly. After some thought, Suyu typed a message. I'll trade you 1 ordinary energy crystal for the information on how it can be used. I won't trade for any other items. Otherwise, the deal's off. If there weren't a limit to daily trading transactions, Suyu would naturally not agree to the other party's request. It was precisely because there was a limit to the number of daily transactions that Suyu decided to take advantage of this information before the public knew about it. At this moment, Wang Teng, who was on his own island, looked at the DM interface and hesitated. The two ordinary energy crystals in his hands were definitely rarer than ordinary daily necessities. He knew this, but even though they were rare, he didn't know what they were used for. These two energy crystals were no different from trash in his hands. After some thought, he decided to use an ordinary energy crystal to exchange for information. Boss Su, I'll use an ordinary energy crystal to exchange for this information. You can put anything on the trading channel. Wang Ting didn't waste any time and replied to Suyu. Suyu, who was paying attention to the DM interface, nodded slightly when he saw the reply. This guy was quite decisive. Therefore, Suyu directly posted a trade offer on the trading channel. Items to trade. 1 windproof lighter. Items in exchange. Ordinary energy crystal. Suyu, who had so many lighters, was too lazy to put in any rubbish, so he casually uploaded a lighter. As for Wang Teng, who was staring at the trading channel, he entered the keyword ordinary energy crystal and refreshed it. When he saw Suyu's trade offer, he immediately chose to trade. Ding! The item you uploaded, the windproof lighter, has been successfully traded. Do you want to withdraw the traded item? The moment Wang Ting's transaction was successful, a notification sounded in Suyu's ears. The corners of Suyu's mouth curled up slightly at this. Effect of ordinary energy crystals. Shatter it and add 300 grams of ordinary flour. Roll it together to make 30 portions of ordinary bait. Suyu, who had chosen to withdraw the traded item, looked at the ordinary energy crystal in his hand and unhurriedly sent a message to Wang Teng. Suyu didn't cheat Wang Teng and told him the use of ordinary energy crystals. Otherwise, Suyu could have just told him that ordinary energy crystals were used to make ordinary bait without telling him how to make them. In fact, the reason why Suyu had thrown out the method so easily was entirely because he wanted to promote the development of the region. Only then could Suyu trade for something good. Otherwise, if Suyu was the only one in the lead in the region, and the others were still using scrap metal, it would be meaningless. After all, Suyu did not care much about the production method of ordinary bait. After all, this bait could only fish out treasure chests at most. Wang Teng was staring at the DM interface. When he saw the message, his breathing quickened. This message was much more useful than an ordinary energy crystal. Without this information, the energy crystals were like ordinary stones in his hands, useless. Now that he knew how to make use of them, he could use the energy crystals and mix them with flour to make ordinary bait. Thank you, boss. Thank you very much. Wang Ting didn't forget to send a message back to Suyu. Suyu replied, it's a fair trade. If there's anything good later, you can privately message me. After saying that, Suyu logged out of the DM. Now that he had eaten and drunk his fill, it was time for him to work again. After all, Suyu had a total of 60 sets of ordinary bait and an energy crystal that had yet to be made into ordinary bait. If he did not fish desperately, Suyu felt that the ordinary baits would pile up more and more in his hands. He looked at the sky and realized that there was still some time before it turned dark. He picked up the fishing rod on the ground and walked toward the fishing spot. The treasure chest resources in this part of the sea are average. You are recommended to change fishing positions. What surprised Suyu was that the fishing spot, which had previously been rich in resources, had now decreased in resources. It seems that the amount of resources under the water is not permanent. It could change at any time. Suyu, who was deep in thought, changed his position. This part of the sea is barren. There are no treasure chest resources here. You are recommended to change fishing positions. After seeing the information floating in front of him, Suyu could only continue to change his position. After Suyu changed 9 spots in a row, he finally found a fishing spot rich in treasure chest resources. Damn it, if it weren't for my insight skill, I might seriously be in trouble. As this thought flashed through Suyu's mind, he flung the fishing rod and threw the fishing line out. After that, it was unknown whether Suyu had really been blessed by Lady Luck, but he managed to fish up 10 treasure chests in an hour and a half. In total, he had obtained 4, ordinary wooden treasure chest, 3. Ordinary wooden treasure chest, and 3. Ordinary wooden treasure chest. From all of these treasure chests, Suyu obtained ordinary wood *40, Zhonghua cigarettes, 1 pack, *2, 5 kilograms of rice *2, 500 g pack of salt *4. 20 liters of diesel oil *2, luxury massage chair *2, 25 kilograms pack of cement *2. Ordinary fishing rod blueprint *2, ordinary bungalow construction blueprint *2, improved bait *4. At this moment, Suyu was paying more attention to the items inside the wooden treasure chest. As for the rest of the items, even if he didn't have the insight skill, Suyu was very familiar with what they could be used for. At this moment, Suyu's gaze was focused on the items that he obtained from the 3 wooden treasure chests. Ordinary fishing rod blueprint, description. Can be used to collect materials, to upgrade the beginner's fishing rod. Upgrade requires the following materials. Glass steel 0/1, PE braided thread 0/1, carbon cloth 0/1. Ordinary bungalow construction blueprint, description. Can be used to build a 30 square meter ordinary bungalow. The construction materials are as follows. Concrete 0/25, red brick 0/200, sand 0/100. Improved bait, description. Can be used to fish from 2. Level treasure chest. Note. It is recommended to use the bait together with the upgraded version of the beginner's fishing rod. Using the beginner's fishing rod with this bait can cause the fishing rod to be damaged. Chapter 9. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Strength Stats Potion Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. To be honest, up until now, Suyu had not seen any of the materials needed to upgrade the fishing rod. Suyu also felt confused as he looked at the materials to construct the ordinary bungalow. Suyu shook his head as he looked at the list of materials. Forget it. Since I have a car, I'll live in it first. I'll slowly accumulate the materials. The next second, Suyu felt a headache coming on as he looked at the items on the ground. If I don't think of a way to increase the area of this island, too many things will pile up. There will be no place to put them. Then, seeing that he still had 7 trading opportunities today, Suyu immediately began to put up a trade offer. Items to trade. 3 packs of salt, packs of 500 g, items in exchange. Glass steel 0/1, PE braided thread 0/1, carbon cloth 0/1, 1 for each pack of salt. Suyu had already searched for these materials. Up until now, no one had made any trade offers for them. That was why Suyu had put up a trade offer, and even pinned it at the top. In an instant, some of the people in Suyu's region who were really bored, found that Suyu had pinned a trade offer again. They immediately started chatting again. Perhaps this group of people used all their 10 pieces of messages every day just to gossip. At this moment, in the communication channel, the survivors began to speculate about the items that Suyu would like to purchase. Does anyone know what the big shot on the rankings wants those items for? Judging from the material, it should be the material for the fishing rod. A fishing rod. Doesn't everyone have a fishing rod? Dude, are you stupid? He's ranked first on the rankings and has an additional 20 sets of ordinary bait every day. He can't possibly use up all the bait with just one rod. Those in drought die by the drought, those in flood die by the flood. Suyu also took the time to look at the communication channel. When he saw that someone had already guessed that he wanted these materials to make a fishing rod, he was not surprised. After all, there were so many survivors. It was not surprising that they could deduce it. When purchasing the materials, Suyu was too lazy to be sneaky about it. If others managed to fish out the ordinary fishing rod blueprint, they would naturally know the materials needed to upgrade the fishing rod. There was no need to hide it at all. After sorting out the items on the ground, Suyu started fishing again. At this moment, Wang Teng, who had obtained 30 sets of ordinary bait through Suyu's guidance, started fishing excitedly. Naturally, Wang Teng had seen the trade offer that Suyu had pinned. To be honest, he really wanted to know how he could tweak the fishing rod. He didn't believe that he could create it only with the materials. This was because this fishing rod was different from ordinary fishing rods. This was a fishing rod used to fish for treasure chests. There must be some other tricks inside. However, Wang Teng wasn't stupid enough to DM Suyu to ask about it. He wanted to continue fishing and see if he could get anything good before going to the boss to exchange information. At the same time, the few people ranked behind Suyu on the prosperity points rankings in Suyu's region also had different thoughts. After Zhou Yi, number 2 on the list, saw Suyu's name on the ranking list, an inexplicable emotion flashed in his eyes. Level 1 Island Master, name. Zhou Yi. Age. 24 years old. L.C. Strength. 0.9 plus, 1, Physique. 0.8 plus, 1, Spirit. 1.3 plus, 1, Note. In parentheses are the stats added to the island master on his own island. The additional stats will not be effective after leaving his island. Island prosperity points. 10 points. Skills. Grade D skill, divination, can be upgraded. Can be upgraded to grade SSS deduction at maximum level. Regional communication channel, regional trading channel, regional prosperity value list. Divination skill, description. You can divine your own luck 5 times a day. This was the second-ranked Zhou Yi's skill. It was precisely because of his divination talent that Zhou Yi could occupy the second rank. With the help of the divination skill, Zhou Yi would divine his own luck before he fished to see which time was the best. If it weren't for the fact that Suyu was a cheater, Zhou Yi would definitely be ranked first in this region. Looking at the last chance of divination left today, Zhou Yi did not hesitate and directly chose to do divination. Favorable. Looking at the divination result, Zhou Yi decisively chose to fish. As for Suyu, whom everyone was thinking about, he was sitting comfortably on the massage chair that he had fished up. Those who didn't know better would think that he was here for a vacation. Ordinary wooden treasure chest, description. It contains 20 milliliters of ordinary strength stats potion. 20 milliliters strength stats potion, description. Consuming it can increase strength by 0.2. There are no side effects. Note. This potion will not be effective on the user with basic strength stats that are greater than 5. Just as Suyu was fishing contentedly, a piece of information about the treasure chest flashed in Suyu's eyes. F***ck, there's such a good thing. After seeing the description of the treasure chest that was still in the water, Suyu immediately perked up. If it escaped his grasp, Suyu would be heartbroken. Suyu, who had perked up very quickly, skillfully pulled the treasure chest containing the strength stats potion out of the water and onto the shore. After quickly opening the treasure chest, Suyu used his double happiness skill to double the strength stats potion. From this, it could be seen how abnormal Suyu's talent was, not to mention that this skill could even be upgraded again later. It would have been better if it was an ordinary resource. However, if he were to encounter such a rare thing in the later stages, Suyu would be better off than others many times over. Looking at the glass test tube in his hand, Suyu did not hesitate. He pulled out the stoppers of the 2 test tubes and poured them into his mouth. As soon as the potion entered his stomach, Suyu immediately felt something. At this moment, Suyu felt his body go numb, as if a weak electric current was flowing through his body. Don't ask Suyu why he knew what it felt like to be electrocuted. It was because when he was young, he had touched the television signal junction and was electrocuted. That feeling was very refreshing. Just like that, the tingling effects of the medicine in Suyu's body lasted for about 20 minutes. Then, Suyu immediately opened his personal stats panel. Level 1 Island Master, Name: Suyu. Age: 23 years old. Strength: 1.4 plus 1, Physique. 1 plus 1, Spirit. 1.5 plus 1, Own Slaves. 2 low-level goblins, 10 prosperity points, 2 Toyota cars, 10 prosperity points. Note: in parentheses are the stats added to the island master on his own island. The additional stats will not be effective after leaving his island. Island prosperity value: 20 points, currently ranked first in the region. Skills: SSS grade insight skill, unknown grade skill, double happiness, can be upgraded. Regional communication channel, regional trading channel, regional prosperity value list. Chapter 10. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Upgraded beginner's fishing rod translator. Atlas Studios editor. Atlas Studios, not bad, not bad. It would be great to have more of this. After feeling the increase in his strength, Suyu began to fantasize. However, Suyu's face darkened when he looked at other things he caught. He didn't know if it was because his luck had turned. *CK, that shouldn't be the case. According to the hint from the insight skill, this area should be rich with treasure chests. Why am I getting these lousy things? After obtaining the strength stats potion, Suyu fished for another 10 treasure chests in half an hour. However, there was no joy on Suyu's face. This was because the items that Suyu had fished up this time were not even comparable to the items he got the first 10 times he fished, let alone the strength stats potion. This time, Suyu's harvest from his 10 fishing trips was 4. Ordinary wooden treasure chest, 3. Ordinary wooden treasure chest, 2. Ordinary wooden treasure chest, and 1. Ordinary wooden treasure chest. Compared to the results from his previous rounds of fishing, this was definitely a change in fortune. 5 ordinary wood *2, shampoo, 500 milliliters per bottle, *2, tissue paper, 1 box, *2, Haitian soy sauce, 500 milliliters per bottle, *2. Fresh watermelon, 5 kilograms, *4, basic medicine box *2, apple sapling *4. 40 ordinary wood *2, 1 portion of fertile soil *2. Island area plus 1 square meter fragment *2, fortunately, the only wooden treasure chest did not disappoint Suyu. Island area plus 1 square meter fragment *2, introduction. The other islands are shattered for various reasons, and the island fragments generated can increase the area of the island by 1 square meter. Not bad, not bad. After seeing the effect of the object, Suyu directly chose to use it. After using it, Suyu saw on his personal stats panel that the area of the island he was on had changed from 100 square meters to 102 square meters. This is good stuff. It's comparable to the stats potion. After getting the good stuff, Suyu immediately prepared to continue fishing. However, at this moment, a sudden notification sound made Suyu temporarily stop fishing. Ding, Survivor Ji Chingru has met the requirements you set and would like to DM you. Do you want to accept the DM? Another person who has energy crystals. Moreover, this name sounds a little familiar. Suyu heard the notification beside his ear, and many thoughts flashed through his mind at that moment. Oh right, it seems to be the girl ranked 4th on the regional prosperity points rankings. Hello, Mr. Su. Can I use other items to trade for the information regarding the usage of ordinary energy crystals? Ji Qingru, who was on her own island, quickly sent a message to Suyu. They want to know the use of energy crystals again. These people are quite smart. Other than Suyu, Wang Ting also knew what ordinary energy crystals could do. However, Wang Ting had spent an energy crystal in exchange for this information. Hence, he naturally wouldn't announce this news in the communication channel. After all, he wasn't stupid. I only need things like glass steel 0 to 1, PE braided thread 0 to 1, and carbon cloth 0 to 1. If you have them, we can trade. Otherwise, forget it. When he saw the message from the girl named Ji Qingru on the chat interface, Suyu did not think too much about it before directly sending his request. Phew. After reading the reply, Ji Qingru could not help but relax. This was because she had all these things. Although Ji Qingru knew that these three things might be very useful, she understood that she could not have her cake and eat it too. She had to choose between the energy crystal and these three items. Instinct told Ji Qingru that ordinary energy crystals were more useful in the early stages compared to these three items. Ji Qingru trusted her own intuition because her skill was, Grade A skill, 6 senses enhancement. After quickly reacting, Ji Qingru directly replied to Suyu. Mr. Su, I have all three items. I'll bid for the trade offer you pinned. Is that alright with you? When Suyu saw the other party's reply, he immediately became energetic. F*CK, this girl is so lucky. I've been fishing for so long, but I haven't caught a single upgrade material. She actually gathered them all up and even has energy crystals in her hands. She's awesome. Alright, after you bid for it, I will send you the usage method of this item, Suyu replied to Ji Qingru. After seeing Suyu's reply, Ji Qingru did not hesitate and directly chose to trade. Immediately, Suyu heard the news that the transaction had been successful. After that, Suyu copied the message he sent to Wang Ting and sent it to Ji Qingru. It had to be said that information was worth a lot these days. Thank you, Mr. Su. After reading the usage method of the ordinary energy crystals sent by Suyu, Ji Qingru did not forget to send him a message of gratitude. Suyu didn't reply to this. After all, he didn't have many messages quota left today, so he had to use them sparingly. It would be a waste if he couldn't reply to somebody else who wanted to do trading with him. At this moment, Suyu looked at the three materials in front of him. Then, he took out the ordinary fishing rod blueprint. After placing all these items beside the beginner's fishing rod, Suyu chose to use the ordinary fishing rod blueprint. Ding! Your beginner's fishing rod has been upgraded to the ordinary fishing rod. It had to be said that the process was very fast. Just as Suyu chose to use them, a white light flashed in front of his eyes. The materials and blueprints disappeared in an instant, leaving only a black fishing rod. Ordinary fishing rod, description. Upgraded from a novice fishing rod. Can be used to fish from. 2. Ordinary wooden treasure chest. Durability. 2. Note. Every time you fish a treasure chest, the fishing rod's durability will decrease by 1. When the durability reaches 0, the fishing rod will be damaged. When the durability drops below 10, you can choose to use the upgrade materials of the beginner's fishing rod to repair it. Additional hint. Sink it 5 meters deep into the water together with the improved bait. You can fish wooden treasure chest at the lowest, and wooden treasure chest at the highest. Looking at the stats of the upgraded fishing rod, Suyu could not help but feel restless. After all, he still had 4 sets of improved bait. Damn it. I'm afraid that when I manage to reel in a treasure chest, I can't pull it up. At this moment, Suyu suddenly thought of the difficulty of fishing up a treasure chest. Then, he silently calculated the difficulty of fishing up a treasure chest. No. Let's finish using up the ordinary bait first and see if I can fish out some stats potions to increase my stats first.